Hello, dear listeners. It's that time again when we stroll through the paths of ambition, desire, and success. Welcome to the Dare to Declare podcast, where we explore the enchanting world of giant manifestors who turn their visions and goals into the stuff of legends. I couldn't help but wonder, how do some people create the lives they've always dreamed of? Is it the magic of manifesting, the power of perseverance, or perhaps just a dash of serendipity? Well, dear friends, grab your coffee cups because we're about to spill the tea on fascinating journeys of those who dare to dream big and make it happen. Join me as we sip on success stories and ponder the ever-enticing question, can we all manifest our dreams into reality, or is it just an urban fairy tale? I'm your host, Debbie Sluice, and I'm here to guide you through the labyrinth of achievement with heart and soul. Ready to dare to declare? Let's get started. Well, hello, everyone. I'm so excited today to have Tina Brigley, and she is a leadership coach who helps women turn their fears and self-doubts into unstoppable confidence. She's been featured in major news publications like Wow Magazine, Global Women, and Forbes. Tina is committed to unleashing your inner badass so you can live life unconstrained. Welcome, Tina.
Thank you, Deb. So great to be here with you.
Well, you were just the obvious choice to be like one of the first people that I wanted to interview because we met each other, I think it's going back about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, actually. And when I met you, I knew there was something so special about you, and you were an MC. So get this, like this is where you can shine and sparkle wherever you are placed. You weren't even one of the keynotes, and yet I came up to you afterwards and I said, I need to get to know you because you're the best MC I've ever heard. And so since then, I've followed your progress and I'm really excited to speak with you today. So one of the things that you told me right off is when I shared with you what I was up to with vision boards is you said, ooh, I've done vision boards. So maybe tell me a little bit about where you got started with coaching and how vision boards have been part of your offering, or, you know, where you began with your coaching.
Yeah, so one of the things that I really loved doing was I loved being with people. And I had the opportunity to create my own vision board. When I was working with a coach, one of the first things she said to me is, you need to create a vision board. And I thought, really? A vision board? Why? And I thought it was just a waste of time in the beginning because I thought a vision board was a collage, to be honest with you. And I'm like, okay, great. I put this beautiful collage together, but I can use my time a little more efficiently. And then I started looking into it a little bit more, and I realized that vision boards actually aren't collages. And people really enjoy doing them. So I thought, I wonder if I could help people create a vision of what's possible in their life and then help them fulfill on that vision, like hold them accountable, give them a system. So I went to a local gym and I created a little vision board workshop, and I loved it. But it wasn't until I started working with you personally that I really understood what a vision board was and how it could really benefit not just my business, but my life. I started doing vision boards. But I was off base. Let's just say that.
Well, I think there is no wrong or right way to do it. And I loved that you just dove in and did it. I think that I admire that so much about you, in that you are unstoppable and you're not afraid to fail, to try new things. And it seems to me that that may have been where you began to hone your skills on doing workshops and storytelling. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because I thought, I want to be in front of people. I want to do what I love. I want them to see something that's missing in their life. I want to be able to hold them accountable. I want to be able to be that person. And there is no better way than workshops, in my opinion, vision board workshops in particular, because it was community building. It was an opportunity for people to come into an environment where I'm not talking at them, but we get to co-create something together. And people love it. You know, it's like, it became almost like a party for people. Let's bring my friends. Let's have a party. So it was an easy entry point to get to know people, to build trust and rapport. And I would say that that was probably in the beginning the secret to really building a community for myself locally. And without having to push people into anything or convince them. It was just, let's just have some fun and create. So for me, yeah, it was awesome. Except one time, I got to share this story.
Please.
I I had a location and we were at this restaurant. We were all doing vision boards and it was really great until the sun went down and the lighting was so bad. I didn't even think about this. So we were all out with our flashlights, cutting and putting everything down. Like, guys, I'm really sorry. I didn't even think about that. So it was really funny, but we made the best of it and everybody loved it. So it was great.
That's hilarious. Maybe you've started something new where you're like totally like maybe blindfolded and just do it from intuition or something. I don't know.
Uh, you know,
Oh, that's funny.
what a crazy experience, but it's kind of like life, right? Sometimes you just take action and you don't have to see it all or figure it all out. But just be in action and go with the flow. Things work and sometimes they don't, but that is life too. So I thought, oh, that's how I source this to experience that.
That's awesome. You know, knowing a bit about your background as well, because you were in education before, correct? So
Mhm.
did you find when you said there was like that ease where you didn't feel like you had to force this community, but they were kind of coming, do you feel like being the teacher has kind of scaffolded you to where, you know, if you look back now to where you began and where you are now, can you see the path? And I don't know, maybe did you know that was all laid out for you? I imagine not, but you know that you can kind of see where you just took the next step forward.
Yeah, like I did, being a teacher, I was used to, running workshops at different capacities and with leadership and stuff like that. But I didn't actually think that I could apply those skills to a coaching business. I was like, oh no, I'm going to be coaching people. But I didn't realize, wait a minute, I can take what I learned and I can apply it to my business too. So I think it just gave me more of a freedom and ease to be in front of people. And also it was like I had a community of people already there, that knew me, liked me, and trust me. And I think we sometimes forget that when we're growing a business or something. There's a lot of people that right now in your networks that, you know, if you show up, they will come because they believe you, they trust you, they know you. So I think, yeah, it was great for that, for having a community, having the confidence to stand in front of a group, um, and to really just be with other like-minded educators too.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
And I love that about you, how authentic you are. I mean, I've followed you on social media for many years already, and you know, you are unapologetically vulnerable and authentic and really appreciate that about you. And one of the things that you share is about your life with your daughters. And I was privileged to work with them actually last year. I think they did a vision board. So I'm curious, what would be and what is, I know you give them so much beautiful advice. Maybe you can share something that you even shared maybe recently with your girls, but what advice and support are you offering to your daughters in terms of their goals and their vision?
Well, it's really interesting that you asked me that question. So we created a vision board with you. So many things manifested for them. I mean, my daughter had her whole vision board was Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift. She was going to the Taylor Swift concert. And I'm like, that's like finding a needle in a haystack. Like, it's just not gonna, in my mind, I was thinking, it's not gonna happen. But she was saying, it is happening, it's already done. And when the tickets first came out, my friends actually got 5 tickets and called me and said, we have 2 tickets for you. I'm like, wait, I have 2 daughters. Why didn't you get three? But like my daughter knew, she believed it, she put it out there, and she looked at that vision board every day. So it's like I say to them, if you believe it, you can achieve it. My other daughter, she wanted to play volleyball. She had volleyball on her vision board. Well, this year in grade 8, the school said there won't be a girls volleyball team this year. We don't have anybody to coach. And she came home and she said, that is not a possibility that I want to create. What can I do? And I said, well, what do you think you can do? She's like, well, I can go to the secretary. I can go to the principal. She's like, I can create a walkout. I'm like, whoa, before you do that. She said, but Mom, this is what I need to do. I need to fight for the right to have a volleyball team. The boys have a volleyball team with 2 coaches. So she started like processing, like what's fair, what's not fair, what do I want, how do I get it? And right before this podcast, I got a message from my daughter, and she said the principal had an announcement today that there will be a girls volleyball team. So yeah, she went there every day last week. She went there Monday. She went there today. What can we do? They even enrolled their parents in volunteering to help. They were like on a mission that this is happening. And so the advice that I give my daughters is, just because you get met with one roadblock doesn't mean you can't knock it down. If you get stuck with something, look for a solution. Don't focus on the problem. The problem is one thing, but there's always a solution. So I instill that in my daughters. I had parents calling me, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Are you going to call the school? And I said, no. I said, I trust that my daughter is going to make magic happen. And I want to give her the opportunity to make magic happen. Last resort, the last minute of the last hour, if she can't make it happen, then I'll come in and rescue her. But really, I said, I don't want to raise an entitled daughter. I want to raise a strong, independent daughter who's willing to get out of her own way, fall, fail, move forward. And so, yeah, I do give that advice to my daughters. Don't get stuck. Don't get bitter, get better, is what my coach says to me. You can get bitter or you can get better. I'm like, don't get bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. I think I should have asked the question, what advice do your daughters give to you, or what lessons do your daughters give to you? And I remember that from when they were declaring their boards, and they were the only 2 surrounded by women, 30 and up. And most of us were in our 40s and 50s. And the wisdom that was coming from them was so profound. And I mean, you've done an amazing job as their mom. And when given the opportunity, like you said, they can work magic with, persistence and encouragement. And when someone truly sees them like you do. So beautiful.
Yeah. The best advice, my youngest daughter, Lexi, she's 13 now. But when I was in a major upset in my business, she said to me, Queen, have you forgotten to straighten your crown? Do you not remember who you are? If you're stopped, so is the world. Pull yourself back up. And I never forget that. And she texted it to me. So I kept it. And when I get stuck, I sometimes go back to her message and I'm like, Queen, have you forgotten who you are? Straighten your crown. So yeah, they give me just as much as I give them, I think.
Oh my gosh. I think that should be a Christmas gift to yourself on a canvas. Like, just in beautiful font. Queen, have you forgotten who you are? Oh, love it, love it, love it. That's amazing. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. I'm curious, you've done a TED Talk.
Yeah.
And so thinking about the amazing storyteller that you are, what advice would you give to people? Actually, I'm going to ask you, would you do it again?
I would do it again. I did my first TED Talk to get over my fear of public speaking.
Hmm.
I had a debilitating fear of speaking in public. So when I had to do an audition video, I put the audition video in just to get over my fear of doing the video. I never actually expected to be chosen. To be honest with you, 7 years ago, I was like, please don't choose me. Please don't choose me. So when she said, we choose you, I'm like, oh, to help out? No, to do a TED Talk. So yeah, I would definitely do it again. It would totally be different. My TED Talk actually came to me in a dream. I feel like it was a download. It was something that I got to do. I wasn't sure why or why I needed to put the message out there, but it was 18 minutes. I wrote it at 1 o'clock in the morning after a month trying to write it. It just came. And there was a woman after I did the TED Talk that came to me, and she expressed that my story transformed her life. And I thought maybe I just wrote it for that one person. I don't know. But I learned from that experience, trust, and you don't have to know how or why, just trust that it's supposed to be the way that it's supposed to be. So I'm excited to do another TED Talk, to be honest. I just haven't been intentional. I haven't put it on my vision board yet because I know if I do, I get to make it happen. I see another one in me for sure.
Beautiful. When you said the word download, it's, we have this coach speak and things, I would never have spoken like that 5 years ago, even though I probably got downloads. I'm just curious. Do you have those regularly? Is that something that you had before, or that yeah, I'm just curious about this idea of downloads.
So, like how I explain my downloads, they always come to me in dreams. It's almost like such a vivid dream that I wake up and I remember all the details. So, I have a dream journal beside my bed. And when I wake up in the middle of the night, I write it down. And I don't know why or the meaning of it, but I always find that there's like, I feel that God, source, like whatever people believe in, there is a higher power guiding me. And I get evidence of this all the time. And the more I'm really tapped into my intuition and listening to myself, when there isn't the outside noise, it comes to me so often, even in coaching calls now. I'll hear like this little whisper, like, ask this question, ask this question. I'm like, I don't know why, but I got to ask you this question. And usually it's really profound. I don't know where it comes from. I just say it's divine. It's divine intuition, it's guidance. So yeah, I have it often. And when I'm stuck in emotional turmoil or when I'm stuck in like a decision, the first thing I do is get quiet because I know the answers are already there, but I will not hear it if I'm running and, putting myself last and not taking care of myself. So I practice, really being in the still when I'm emotionally not, I don't want to say secure, but yeah, it kind of feels like an emotional insecurity where my emotions are all over the place. Like that's my body's way of saying, nope, you're out of alignment. Get quiet, get quiet. So
It's so funny that you bring that up. Okay. So you invited me to be part of a retreat. Again, I keep losing track of time. I think it was last year. And I showed up mid-retreat and I walk into breakfast and I'm like, either somebody passed away, like died, or there's something really weird going on here because it was completely silent and everyone was in this beautiful, well, I looked at it later beautiful, but at the time it was very disarming. So you were running a silent piece of your retreat. And so it's so interesting that you said that silence is where, again, you get these downloads. So can you talk a little bit about that experience? I know that you had an experience prior in your own retreat where you had been as a guest. And then when you were hosting this retreat, you had offered that for your participants.
yeah, so it was really interesting because I don't know if like the listeners that are out there right now, but have you ever actually sat for an hour with no distractions, not outside even, like in the quiet of a room, eyes closed, eyes open, and just pay attention to your thoughts? So in this retreat, I gave people the opportunity to just be an observer of themselves, to notice what comes up, to notice what they hear. And in the quiet, there was a lot of emotions. People were releasing, they were crying, you know, just being in the still. And so I realized that we don't give ourselves permission to just be still enough, because it's confronting. It's really challenging. One of the other things that I do with my clients is I have them stand in front of the mirror and be with that person in the mirror for 5 minutes minimum. But during our coaching session, sometimes we do 20 minutes where they just get to sit without breaking the gaze, without, catching the thoughts. and letting them go, but just being with that person in the mirror. And I remember I had this profound experience with a client. She was so confronted one day. She left my coaching call, and I said to her, I promise you this, if you get back on the call and you trust the process, you're going to have the most profound experience of your life. So she did. She came back on the call and we did the mirror activity. And when she came back, she was in tears. She was just crying so much. And I said, what did you get for yourself? She said, I saw my mom, my aunt, my great aunts, my grandmother. I saw them all and I heard their voice, and their voice had become mine to the point where I don't even know whose voice is mine anymore. But I got to, for the first time, see that person in the mirror. And it was just like she said, if you hadn't have gotten me back, I would have done what I always do. When it gets tough, I run away. Screw you, I'm out of here. And she said, I won't ever do that again, because once you see that, you can't unsee it. Once you see that that's your pattern, then it becomes a choice. And it was such a beautiful moment. And at the retreat, we were having a lot of experiences like this of just being observers of ourselves without judgment, but just noticing, and then choosing, do we want to keep those habits or do we want to let them go?
Yeah. It was very powerful. And I remember when you paired us up as well, and just to look into each other's eyes, was just extremely powerful, and just sending this vibration of love. And that leads me thinking about, creating space to manifest, because like you said, we have to confront, we have to acknowledge, we have to see the old version of us in order, like your daughter, to create something new. So I'm really curious, would you share with us one or two stories? Like, you are a giant, one of the giants here, which is why I've got you on this podcast, a giant manifester. And so I'd love to hear the magic, the miracle of manifestations that have happened in your life. Would you share that?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones, it was when I was actually working one-on-one with you. And I remember saying, I put a Cadillac Escalade on my vision board, and I said, one day I am going to have that car in my driveway. And it was probably 2 weeks later. I had this like awakening or realization that I was waiting for one day when I had X amount of money in the bank, when I had, all of the stars were aligned. And I said, but what if one day is today? And so I walked into a car dealership and I said, I want to test drive a Cadillac Escalade. And I had it in my head. It was white with tan interior. And so he had a silver one, and I drove it and I was like, this isn't it. No, I want a white one with beige interior or tan interior. So he's like, I'm sorry, we don't have anything like that. And we don't, like, I'm even looking on the computer, we don't have one. They're really limited. I said, okay, well, when you find one, let me know. So I went home. The next morning, he called me and he said, Tina, we have a demo at another lot. There's only 500 kilometers on it. We're not supposed to sell it till 5,000 kilometers. But my manager said that he would be willing to sell you this car. Can I drive it to your house? Drive it to your house. I'm like, yes, yes, you can. So he drove it, and literally I walked out there and I went, oh, that's what I did. I'm like, yes, that is her. And right away I'm like, that's my sexy B. You know what I mean? I don't know if we can BITCH.
Go
And I'm like,
ahead.
that's her. And so anyways, he said to me, it was funny. This is a little sidetrack, but he said to me, well, do you want to talk to your husband first? And I looked at him. I'm like, I went to the dealership to buy a car. I am buying a car. I don't need permission from anybody to buy a car. I said, do you want the sale or not? What do I need to do? And I said, like, I've already been approved. I have the money for it. I am buying this car right now. He's like, okay, let's do it. So that was a major manifestation. Another manifestation, I think, I wanted to take my daughters to New York City. And we did the vision board in October. And I thought, man, I have so much going on with work. The kids have so much going on with volleyball. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this before, like anytime soon. And then I saw like a pop up for cheap flights to New York City. All of this stuff started, like, everything was like New York City, New York City. The girls did not have volleyball. We picked a weekend and we just went. And I was like, this was in the beginning of December. So we did the vision board in October. I thought maybe in a year we'll go. We literally went, it wasn't even 8 weeks later. So that was a huge manifestation too, and probably one of the best trips my daughters and I went to together. It was amazing.
Ah,
I mean,
yeah,
I
I
could go
remember.
on forever. Like, there are so many. I feel like sometimes I say, no, 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 I don't want that yet, because I know as soon as I put it into motion, it happens. It's already done.
Okay, so I'm going to be careful asking you because if you haven't actually, if you don't want it yet, but tell me what's next.
Oh. Well, Deb, I have this thing on my vision board right now. There's me with a man, and we're really
Mhm.
happy, and we're on a boat. Like, there's a boat. So, like, not like to get married or anything, but I am open to love and receiving love. But for the last 2 years, I've been like, no, no, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. So I feel like that might be next. Maybe a special somebody to share my some of my life with.
Very amazing. And, I don't know if you know this, but I have absolutely helped people find love and they found partners through this process. So let's just play here for a minute. What's he like? Tell me about him.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, he is self-aware, funny. He has really great boundaries, which means he gives me my space and doesn't take it personally when I need space. He is driven and ambitious. He's a great dad and very good at communicating. Tall, a few muscles would be nice.
Yeah, I mean it's the whole package. So it's like who they are and what they are and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think he is gonna, just want to sweep me off my feet and take me around the world and travel and go boating on the weekends. Yeah, that's what I'm putting out there.
Amazing. If you haven't already, I would write some of those attributes on the back of your vision board.
Oh, girl, I have them on cue cards.
Oh, good, good, good. Okay, I didn't know. I helped a client this summer, and I was saying, like, even write out your script as in your story. So picture the two of you again, if you're living together, but, waking up or starting your day together, whether that be for breakfast, and then what does a typical day in your life look and feel like?
Mm.
And conversations. And so just really make it alive. So it's almost like watching a TV show, a pilot TV show of your life.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm writing that down. That's my homework.
There's your homework.
Because, oh, you can't just manifest stuff without doing the work, guys. Okay. If you think, oh, I'm just gonna, like, you know, be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. Well, like, you need to raise your vibration to be able to manifest $1 million. You got to believe and be that person that can accept it and receive it. So I get to do work to raise my vibration around relationships, because I know right now it's like, I got some work to do there. So I'm writing it down. Raise my
Thank you.
vibration around relationships.
We're getting there to the end, but you bring up a really good point, something that you and I have talked about before, about, especially with COVID, there was a big influx of people wanting to do this work. And so, there's a pretty low entry level in terms of becoming a coach. You can't just walk into a hospital and perform surgery, but you can, hang your shingle and call yourself a coach. And so there are some really great coaches and there are some that are not so great. And so what do you think that it takes, to be a great coach? And what I mean by that is heart-centered. Yes, there's lots of heart-centered people that want to help people, but there's also, as you and I've talked about, the business sense and the sales and all the other pieces of it. So what do you think that it takes in order for you to be a successful coach? And that's a pretty loaded question, but I hope
No, three
it's
things.
okay.
One, courage. You got to have like courage to take bold actions that you don't dream possible. I think the other thing is um, belief in yourself that comes with a really high level of personal awareness. Now, you can't get personal awareness from just meditating and doing yoga and reading books. You got to be willing to go uncover those parts of yourself that you do not want to see. You can't do that on your own. You got to invest in coaching. So anybody who invests in a coach who doesn't believe in coaching or hasn't invested in coaching, no, 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 do not. You gotta be the real deal. And I think the third thing is you really get to master your mindset. Growing a business is a series of ups and downs and waves. You gotta be able to ride the wave, and believe and trust. Trust that no matter what, as Marie Forleo says, everything is figure outable. You can figure out anything. Focusing on the problems doesn't work. You've got to focus on the solutions to the problems. And the quicker you can get out of your own way, the more successful you'll be. So those are the things that I feel that is my job, working on those things. Marketing, sales, yes, we need all of that, but we can hire somebody to help us with that. The other stuff, it's an internal game. It's an inside job, and nobody can do that for you. Nobody. So that's what I work on. That is my job.
Yeah, me too. I love it. You nailed it. So you said courage, self-awareness, and mindset. And it's not a job, it's an inside job, but it's not something that you said, like you said, you could do alone. I mean, research is showing like you're 95% more likely to manifest if you have accountability. And so, that's why you are a giant manifester, is that you live it and you're doing it. You offer the work, but you're doing the work. So, Tina, this has just been so lovely. I could talk to you all day long. You are extraordinary. You are someone to watch, and I hope that people do follow you. So, where's the best place for people to get a hold of you?
You can go to my website, tinabrigley.com. I have lots of resources and links to YouTube and Facebook and all of that stuff. So, yeah, that's probably the best place to find me. Or
Very cool.
Google says you are who Google says you are. So just go Google Tina Brigley and you will see me there.
I love that. I love that. And coming into the new year, so this episode's going to be probably dropping in November, December. So coming into the new year, is there a group or any project that you're working on that you'd like to share with people?
Yeah, so I'm starting a group. It's called Unstoppable Confidence, the 90-day challenge, helping, entrepreneurs who are really experiencing resistance and sabotage get out of their way so that they can do what they know to do. So yeah, I'm excited about that. We're actually launching it next week, but it's evergreen. And yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting.
And they can just jump in on a call with you through your website and talk to you personally. So thanks so much, Tina. This has just been lovely. I adore you, and keep shining your bright light and being that giant manifester that you are.
Thanks, Steph. I acknowledge you. You're awesome.